Hello, friendos and bendos, it's me, Z, and recently I did a community post asking you what are your suggestions for characters who should be in a DC Rivals type of game. Now, recently I did a DC Rivals video, and it got a lot of views, so I'm thinking to myself, I gotta make a sequel. And I think this is the best idea for a sequel, ranking your ideas for characters who should be in the game. If it ever exists, it probably won't, but this is all just for fun, and essentially, obviously, these are not every single DC character because you guys didn't suggest every single DC character, but you guys did suggest a lot. I think 56 in total by my count, and I'm gonna be sorting them all on this tier list. The tiers are absolutely in. These are characters that I think would probably be in the game regardless. Like if DC made a DC Rivals, I think these characters would 100% be in the game. Very good idea. I think these characters are pretty likely to be in a game like DC Rivals if it ever exists, and I really do like the idea of them being in the game. I think they're also kind of a no-brainer. I See the Vision are characters that I think aren't like no-brainers, but I think there's a good idea behind them, or I can sort of see where you're coming from with the suggestion. Then we have I Don't Know tier. That's just, I don't know. I just don't feel like they would be good. I'm pretty ambivalent to them overall. And then Nah is just, I don't think so. And then finally we have As an Echo or Skin. Essentially, these are characters who won't have unique movesets, but will have unique visuals and dialogue. They're skins or echo fighters like from Smash Bros. Alright, let's just get started. Immediately, let's go into Red Hood. I think Red Hood is either an absolutely in or a very good idea. Now, since this is, with my previous video in mind, I suggested Deathstroke, and I think Deathstroke and Red Hood are pretty similar. But even then, it's not like these games don't have similar characters in them, and I'm sure they can probably try to do something unique with Jason. Maybe, I don't know, motorcycle. You could add a motorcycle. I think that'd be decently fine. I mean, sure, but I think Jason Todd, Red Hood. I think if we're ever gonna do a DC Rivals type game, DC's just gonna shove him in there immediately. Next up is Crazy Jane, and I love Crazy Jane. I see the vision with her. I'm actually gonna put two other characters in I See the Vision. These are gonna be Polka Dot Man, and then where is he? I'm so blind right now. Flex Mentallo. I'm putting them all in I See the Vision. I love all these characters a lot, but the reason they're all in I See the Vision instead of Very Good Idea is because one, they're not shoo-ins, and two, their movesets are so varied. Like all of their concepts behind them, Crazy Jane with their multiple personalities, Polka Dot Man with different polka dots, and Flex Mentallo with his different flexes, is that they can pretty much do everything. You know what I mean? Like, well, Polka Dot Man can't do as much as Crazy Jane and Flex Mentallo, but they're Doom Patrol characters. You can't expect to do everything a Doom Patrol character can. But Polka Dot Man still, he does have a lot of stuff. Every polka dot he has on his body has a different effect. I think that putting them in a video game would be a lot of work, because you have to think about, like, these characters can, like, do everything, so you have to, like, narrow it down, narrow their moveset down. And it's a little difficult, but I still do want to see them. I see the vision, personally. Next up, Rita Farr, Elastowoman. I'm thinking for Rita Farr, I think it's a good idea to put her in. But the thing about her is that I think that she's kind of beaten by Plastic Man, who's also here. I think that Plastic Man is not an echo fighter. I think that Plastic Man is an absolutely in type of character. I think he has so much variety. I mean, you've seen Reed Richards in Marvel Rivals. You could do that for Plastic Man, but even more so, you know what I mean? Because Plastic Man is so much more inventive, and Reed is already pretty inventive with his powers. But Plastic Man, every single comic Plastic Man's in, he's doing something so unique and crazy, and I think it's more controlled than with like Crazy Jane, Polka Dot Man, and Flex Mentallo. So like you have to narrow it down what he can do, but it's still because like Crazy Jane and Flex Mentallo, they're reality warping, but Plastic Man, he can do a lot, but you can still like narrow it down to like some core functions that I like with him. As a result, I feel like Rita Farr, as much as I like her, I feel like if she would be in the game with Plastic Man, she'd be kind of irrelevant. But assuming each of these characters are independent of themselves, I'm just gonna put her in very good idea. She can grow large, she can smash stuff, that's pretty cool. It could also allow for maybe a potential Giganta skin, you know what I mean? Though, whether or not it would be a skin or Echo is depends on how they design her as a character, because, you know, Elastigirl can do so much more than just grow big. She can also stretch her body. That's why her name is Elastiwoman. You know what I mean? But growing big is still one of her main things. Maybe that can be her alt. Poison Ivy is absolutely in. Poison Ivy as a support is like a no fucking brainer to me. I mean, it's just a no brainer to have Poison Ivy as a support in a DC rival. She's super popular and she's super strong and she just makes so much sense. Star Sapphire as a support, I think, is also a really just a shoo-in idea as well. Almost an absolutely in, but I'm just going to put her in very good idea. I think Star Sapphire works very well for that. Another Lantern here who I think works wonderfully as a support would be Saint Walker. I think he's definitely my top choice for a support as a Lantern character to become a support. I think he's my top choice. Him and then Star Sapphire. Jaime Blue Beetle, I think Blue Beetle's 100% going to be in a DC Rivals if we ever get one. DC has been pushing him for so long and he's gotten pretty popular. I think that Blue Beetle just is a no-brainer. I love Jaime. Bane. So a lot of people suggesting Bane in the original video, and I've come around. I thought of Bane, but like, I just thought that maybe there was many different ideas for tanks that I think would work better, but like, now that I'm really thinking about it, like Bane, I think he has to be in a DC Rivals type game. The Venom system, a Venom system would be really cool. You know, maybe like Gray Health, maybe he accrues Venom over time. There's lots of stuff that can be done with it. Booster Gold, I'm thinking very good idea. I really like the idea of Booster Gold, you know, just as a DPS, a strong, fast DPS. Obviously, he'll have, you know, a time rewind ability. These types of games always have a time rewind character, you know what I mean, like Tracer, that Atlas guy from Paladins, and if we go into MOBAs, if we're moving into MOBA territory, we also have like Echo from League of Legends and Kronos from Smite. I mean, and Booster Gold could definitely have a time travel, like just go 4 seconds back in the past type of mechanic. Along with that, there was a suggestion that came along with Booster Gold from one of the commenters, which was to have like a viewership mechanic where like certain things Booster Gold does in the match can like raise his viewership and as such like get him more motivated to fight, and so like give him like boost in strength. That is a amazing idea. I love that idea so much. Mad Hatter. I don't really see Mad Hatter working. Maybe like mind control slaves, or like that's really hard to translate in this type of player focused game, you know what I mean? Because I mean, nobody wants to have this other character like control them all the time. I think Mad Hatter, I just don't see him working really. Necron, aka Black Hand, I really think that Black Hand could definitely work in a type of game like this. I think him resurrecting, you know, like people from the dead, he could either be a strange type of support where like he resurrects characters for like a time being, or maybe he could be like a tank and like he can raise like armies of like zombies as like pseudo turrets in a way. There's lots of different things that could be done with Black Hand, and I really am interested in that. Hades, the thing is, he would essentially be Black Hand, but the thing about Black Hand is that he is both more recognizable as a villain and also like more, you know, tied to DC lore. As a result, I feel like Hades would be an echo of Black Hand instead of his own separate character. Vixen, I think Vixen is probably absolutely in. Either absolutely in or very good idea tier. Honestly, I think like you could like put the top 3 in a very good idea into absolutely in. I think I'm gonna put Vixen down to like very good idea, because I think absolutely in tier is specifically for characters that I think would have to be in a DC Rivals game. But Vixen, she's so good. I love her. I think she could have tons of like different stances maybe. Like she could be a stance character, like a bear stance, and an elephant stance, and a lion stance, and a cheetah stance, or what have you. And then she could have other types of abilities, you know, like a earthworm ability to like regenerate stuff, or like heal faster, or maybe she has like a porcupine ability. I don't know. Like, there's very much some different things that you could do with Vixen. I'm really interested in what that could be. Stars and Stripe. I think this might be a hot take, but I think that Stars and Stripe would probably absolutely be in this type of game. Like they're not shoo-ins necessarily, but I think Stars and Stripe would work so well. You know what I mean? Like, and DC has been trying to push Stargirl a little recently. She had her show recently, for instance, and she's a creation of Jeff Johns. And Jeff Johns is big in DC. I mean, he doesn't work for them anymore right now, but he's pretty big in DC. I think that if a DC Rivals game would happen, I think Stargirl and Stripe would be in it. I think it'd be very cool, and it would be a lot like the Ash from Overwatch. You know what I mean? Like, Stargirl, she's the main one, but then her ult is she summons Stripe, and he just goes ballistic. I really like the idea of that. Shade. So overall, I think I would prefer Nightshade to Shade, but Shade and him like controlling darkness, I think that's a very good idea. He could be like teleporting and stuff. He could be a very good support. The Eraser. The Eraser. I don't know about the Eraser. I think there is some merit to him as like both as like a joke character and like obscure character, but also like something could be done with him. But I'm just gonna put him in. I think overall I'm gonna put him in no tier. The Manhunters also no. I don't think they're interesting enough. Cassandra Cain. I think Cassandra Cain is a very good idea. You know what I mean? She'd be very martial arts focused. Maybe she'd have like paralyzing attacks because she'd like hit nerves and stuff. Mr. Terrific, I think he's an absolutely in tier. Not only has he become very big in DC, like both in the comics and he's going to be in the new Superman movie, but he'd also be an amazing support. He'd just be an absolutely amazing support. Gizmo and Toyman, both of them, I see the vision with them. They both, make gadgets and stuff. I think they could be very good supports. They're summoning, healing pods. They're summoning, like toy soldiers to attack. Maybe they summon a giant mech. Or, Gizmo, he could fly around on his jetpack. I think there's very good ideas that can be done with them. Orion, I'm going to put him in I don't know tier. The thing about Orion is that he's very, like, basic in his powers. He is just, he has super strength and stuff because he's a new god, right? His most, unique thing is his, it's not the Omega effect, it's the other thing. It's the other, like, reverse of the Omega effect that's, like, in his, like, scooter, like, his, like, light scooter thing. I think that would be kind of interesting, but, like, I just don't see how interesting it could be when there's so many other characters that, like, I think could do better. Kilowog, I'm gonna put Kilowog in very good idea. I would love to see Kilowog. Robin, Damian Wayne, I think it absolutely in as well. I think DC would not miss the opportunity to put Damian in the game, in a DC Rivals type game, if it ever happened. And I think his ult could be him summoning Goliath. I think that would be very interesting as well. You know what I mean? Though that might be a little too similar to Stargirl's ult, if they might both be in the game. But I don't know. Dr. Midnight, I think he'd be a pretty neat support. He could also like disrupt stuff with his his gas bombs and his smoke bombs. I think that'd be very interesting. I see the vision with Dr. Midnight. Peacemaker, I think he'd be absolutely in, just because DC has been pushing him so much after James Gunn just popularized him so much, and his different helmet settings would be pretty cool, I think. Ra's al Ghul, I think Ra's al Ghul would probably have like a Lazarus Pit mechanic, right? Like he might be able to like revive instantly, like once per game or something like that. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty interesting. I see the vision with Ra's al Ghul, but I'm not the biggest Ra's al Ghul fan. Despero, I don't know. I feel like he'd be too much like Martian Manhunter, and Martian Manhunter would definitely be in the game because I suggested him, and this is going off of my roster. Black Lightning, I think Black Lightning is also absolutely in. Again, DC has been pushing him, and an electric character is always gonna be fun to have. I think Black Lightning is absolutely in. Condiment King, I think I see the vision with Condiment King. Like, unlike Mad Hatter and Eraser, Condiment King both works as a lesser-known villain because, a lot of people know about him, but also like his entire deal of him having different condiments. Like he could have a slowing mustard and a blinding mayonnaise. I don't know. I think it's funny, but also it's an interesting idea. Katana, I think Katana is a very good idea. I think like she could be like kind of like a Lowy from League, or she can like pull your soul out and attack that. I think that'd be very interesting. Etrigan, like transforming between him and Jason Blood. I think that'd be very good. Let's see. Captain Atom. Captain Atom, he's one of those, powerful characters, that would kind of be hard to implement, but I still think that he'd be, I think Captain Atom would be pretty cool to have. Larfleeze, I think I see the vision. No, I'm gonna put Larfleeze as an Echo Fighter. I'm gonna tell you why. I think that he could kind of work as an echo of Black Hand, because again, he would kind of like summon an army, because that's one of Larfleeze's things, right? Like, he killed all the other Orange Lanterns because he's that greedy, and now he summons them like as an army, as constructs. I think that'll be very similar to like what Black Hand's mechanics might be, which is summoning an army of zombies. And I'd rather have Black Hand in the game than Larfleeze. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I'd rather have Larfleeze in the game than Black Hand. So you know what? Fuck it. Alright, Larfleeze is the main one, and then Black Hand and Hades are Echo Fighters of Larfleeze, because I say so. John Kent. The thing about John Kent is, I feel like Superman would be in the game, and then probably Supergirl would be in the game. And then I'm just thinking to myself, at that point, why would you need John? I just don't know. I just think that there's better things that can be done. At most, I think maybe he'd get like a skin, Superman would get a John Kent themed skin. Silver Swan, I do actually really see the vision with Silver Swan. Flying around, sonic attacks, I think that would be really neat. However, like, out of all the Wonder Woman villains, Silver Swan, I don't know. Jinx. I think that's a very good idea. Another magic user, this time a DPS magic user. All the magic users I suggested in my video were they were supports, but I think Jinx can work very well as a DPS, and then also she can get a Teen Titans, the TV show theme skin, so we can have all the nostalgia people and the like gooners, we can get them on board as well to main her. Ted Cord, I think Ted Cord would be a very good idea as well. Just him teaming up with Booster. Also, maybe he and Booster have a team up attack if this game has team up attacks. Though team up attacks seem like a very Marvel Rivals thing, you know what I mean? I feel like if a DC Rivals came out and it had team up attacks, people would definitely be calling it a ripoff. Cheshire, I think Cheshire's a very good idea because you have like poisons and stuff. I think she'd be a very like annoying DPS to face. With Adam, Ray Palmer and Ryan Choi, they're both on this image. I'm gonna put them in I See the Vision. The thing about them though is shrinking characters would be much harder to implement than the growing characters like Rita Farr or Plastic Man, because they could like grow, because they're very much known for growing in size, whereas the Atom, they shrink. So you'd have to like, I don't know, you'd have to do something you'd have to like try very hard to like make them not unfair. Doomsday, definitely in. I think Doomsday's definitely in to a game like this. And like Ra's al Ghul, he could have some sort of revival mechanic, except maybe Ra's, he'd revive instantly, maybe once or twice per game, I don't know. Whereas Doomsday, like, every time he dies, he comes back stronger. That's very cool. I love that. I don't remember how Scion works in League. Maybe you could also work kind of like Scion as well. I'm not sure. The Trickster, or is this? No, it's a Trickster. Trapster is Paste Pot Pete from Marvel. Trickster, I think, is actually a pretty good idea. I think he works perfectly well as both a lesser-known character, as well as somebody who can have very unique mechanics with his, trap trick-themed deal, you know what I mean? And it's a bit better than Gizmo and Toyman, because their thing is like toys, whereas like I think Traps works very well for like for a more annoying support character. And honestly, overall, I think I'd want Trickster more than Gizmo or Toyman. Hog Girl, I think as a DPS or tank, she'd work very well. Bumblebee, same problem as the Atoms. Killer Moth, I think, would be a Batman skin, because he's kind of like the bad guy Batman. iRay and Jay West, these are Wally West's children, and originally I was gonna think they wouldn't really work, but then I remembered that Jay, he has this power where he can like send a mini clone of himself, and like he can teleport back to that clone. I think it'll be very good for like a support character. I actually really like that a lot, and I think maybe you could switch between them. Since they're twins, you can switch between them in a sort of cloak and dagger type situation where Jay is the more support oriented side, and iRay is the more attack oriented side, but there's still a support at the end of the day. Kite Man, you're gonna fucking hate me for this, but I see the vision with Kite Man. only because at the end of the War of Jokes and Riddles arc, Kite Man, he gives everybody a kite. Like, that's what happens at the end of that arc. He gives all of the Batman villains kites so they can team up against the Joker, and it's really cool. I think that could be an awesome ult. Just give everybody on your team the ability to fly. I think that would be very interesting, and that's pretty much just it. Constantine, definitely, he was one of my top choices for the video that I unfortunately left out. I think he would be absolutely in. Wesley Dodds, Sandman. I think he'd be a pretty neat support, you know what I mean? Because he could both, send people to sleep, but also, like, turn into sand and sneak around. I think that's a very cool idea. Steel, either John Henry Irons or his daughter Natasha. I think they work pretty well as tanks. Killer Frost, I think, should be a pretty good DPS. And she's actually, I think, the only ice-based character on this list so far, so I think she'd work pretty well. Deadshot, I think he'd probably just be a skin of Deathstroke. And Swamp Thing, I think he'd 100% be a tank. I think he'd 100% be a tank. He'd be so cool, I think, as a tank, and he'd be an absolute shoo-in as well, because Swamp Thing's one of the most popular, B, C list around that area DC characters, and I think he'd be very cool that way. So this is the tier list. Lots of characters could work, but a few of them, I just don't think they do. So I'm thinking the shoo-ins are Red Hood, Plastic Man, Poison Ivy. There's all of these guys. I think like if DC Rivals would exist, these guys would 100% be in the game. And then the next row is guys that I'm not sure would be in the game, absolutely, but I'd love to see them in the game, and I think it would definitely work. And then, of course, I See the Vision is characters that I could see them working, but I'm not 100% sure if they would be in the game. I don't know, here is just ones that I'm just not into the idea of them, and not is ones that I just don't see working at all. And then, of course, Hades and Black Hand, I think they'd be Larfleeze skins, because like they could summon armies, and Larfleeze can do that too, and I like Larfleeze more than the both of them, so yeah. And then Deadshot would be a Deathstroke skin, and Killer Moth would be a Batman skin. I think that's kind of my tier list. What do you guys think? And what are your suggestions, again, for a type of DC Rivals? What are your DC Rivals suggestions? I was thinking, like, maybe I could do a video on maps, season ideas, battle pass ideas. That would be very cool. But I don't know. This is just a quick little video doing a tier list on Marvel Rivals. It's been me. Not Marvel Rivals, a potential DC Rivals. But it's been me, Z. And I'll see you next time. Bye.